guys, welcome to another episode of Mitchell's Logistics Corner, where we bring you real-time information of what's going on in today's logisticals market. Okay, so a lot of stuff happening. First off, I want to say thank you for everyone that supported me on giving you the tour over in the Caribbean and St. Bart's. I really appreciate all the support. That was a really fun trip. So far I've hit Savannah and I've hit, as I promised, a Caribbean island. I will be hitting LA, New York, and Houston before the end of the year. So I'll keep you guys posted with other videos. So now let's get into the real good stuff that I love more than anything. Ocean freight rates. That's right, ocean freight rates. Boom, boom, boom. That's how it feels when you see these incredible rates that are coming through. All right, so when we first started posting videos, the rates from Asia into the East and West Coast were anywhere between $8,000 to $10,000. And I would make jokes about, hey, why don't we pay $20,000 to $30,000? Well, just so that you guys know, this is no longer a joke. This is real. So wait till I give you an update on these rates. All right, so here what we got. Yantin to Miami is paying at $21,500 for an FEU. Yantin to LAX is paying $16,500. Yantin to Savannah is paying $19,000, and Yantin to Charleston is paying $19,500. This is completely unbelievable, but I have some more information that will explain to you what these steamship lines are doing. All right, so Shanghai to LAX is about $15,000 in FEU. Shanghai to Houston, $20,500. Whoa. And Shanghai to Chicago is $23,000 for an FEU. Now keep in mind, these are only rates that are coming from agents overseas. I've seen emails where there's forwarders, and mostly these multinationals, which I will get to a little later in this post, that are quoting between $30,000 to $35,000. I've even seen one for $40,000. And I don't know who's really doing the price gouging, if it's the steamship lines or some of these multinational forwarders. Or maybe some possible collusion. I'm not saying that there is. But keep in mind, our industry has been known, and there are many CFOs and CEOs that have been sent to prison for price fixing and collusion. Would not surprise me if we start seeing this in the ocean world. All right, so those rates, obviously, as you know, are completely foolish, and I don't understand why we continue to pay this, and the volumes keep going up on the imports, which is just mind-blowing. So, all right, so just to give you an idea, Hapag-Lloyd in the last 6 months made more profit than they've made in the last 10 years combined. I mean, come on, guys. Let's be realistic. HMMM, $1.5 billion they're spending on 12 container ships. Maersk is paying $1.4 billion for some more vessels. And CMA posted a record $3.5 billion in profit just for Q2 alone. Now, if you guys have seen and have actually kept up with stuff that's been going on in our industry, a lot of these steamship lines are now buying containers and vessels. That is because they're making so much money and they want to avoid paying any kind of taxes, so now they're buying crap. That's right. Remember how I said forwarders buy? Steamship lines too. 12 vessels. Do you all know how long it takes to build one vessel? And they bought 12 vessels and they spent $1.4 billion. Yeah, good way to cook the books. Right down that path. Unbelievable. Now, what I'm also seeing as well is with these big multinational forwarders, I see some of them continuously buying companies that make no sense. They're just buying. It's also because they are making a fortune of money. And they're trying to hide all their money too. That's right, but they're not going to be really able to, right? Because there are a lot of investigations of what's going on, whether there's price fixing or collusion. So let's see what happens. But every time you see some of these multinationals keep buying, all they're trying to do is defer a lot of their capital gains so that they don't have to pay taxes. And they said, oh, we bought this. It's a game that these guys play, and they know what they're doing, and they're incredibly smart. So be careful out there. David Chow, thank you so much for sending me all these updated rates. I really appreciate it. Hopefully when I come out to China, we get together again and discuss what's going on in other parts of China. All right, so let's talk about the port delays. So I get a lot of comments and I got a lot of messages on port delays and what ports to avoid. Just to give you an idea, LAX has about 44 vessels that are just sitting outside of the port of LAX. I think that's the most we've ever had, but they're just sitting. So there is going to be port delays there, as always, as well as Port of Savannah, Port of Charleston, and New York and New Jersey. Now, the biggest issue that we have in these areas is the equipment issue is still becoming a very big problem. There's not enough chassis. And I keep saying that there's not enough chassis. Well, maybe we should ask the steamship lines, now that they're trying to get into the domestic part of the business, maybe they could be really nice enough that they're making billions of dollars to supply, I don't know, a couple of chassis to make the containers move a little quicker. Because I have a ton of messages from truckers that go into these ramps and go into these ports. There's no equipment. So it's crazy. And especially because some of these steamship lines, I'm not sure if it's any kind of conversations or collusion with any of these rails, but it's amazing how the free time went from 3, 5, 10 days to 1 24-hour period. And not only that, but if you pay a steamship line for storage, it takes them maybe 1 to 24 hours to clear it. So you actually have to clear 2 days to make sure that it posts so the trucker could pick this up. I mean, this is just mafia criminal stuff. I cannot believe this. But again, it is what we are. Okay, now also I've been getting some updates from the Port of China. There's a lot of ports that keep closing, whether they're major ports, Ningbo or whatever, because of COVID. What I was told is that if they have one case, they typically close down the majority of the ports. So, do I think that's smart? I don't think so, but some people do. Maybe quarantine a group of the people, but I guess every country has its own rules. But this is completely ridiculous, and it's causing more and more and more delays. It is beyond me completely what's going on in this ocean freight world. Air freight. Not really much to report besides it's a complete disaster. It's still a spot rate market. They don't have enough people to break things down. Transloads is becoming more and more common. That's when stuff comes in, breaks down, and then moves on to another mode of transportation. But there's just not enough people to help break these pallets down. So it's even warehouses are having big problems. I'm hoping there's some type of a solution here. And one thing that was very interesting that I noticed too is that I see more and more people are starting to leave the industry, and I get it. A lot of the stuff is getting automated, so they really don't need people, because I think that a lot of these forwarders are getting a lot smarter, especially these multinationals where they're going pure AI. So I guess why would you need people, right? But I will tell you one thing. I do work very closely with Talent, Mr. Bill Paul. If you guys are looking at getting into the industry, go through them. They'll guide you in the right direction. They really know what they're doing, and the people that they're replacing are really long-term people. So again, Talent, reach out to them for that. Now, one thing that I mentioned was if there is any collusion going on between the ocean carriers and the forwarders. Now, I don't know. Is it true? Maybe not. Maybe so. We don't know. It's a rumor. But it's interesting because I got 2 emails from 2 really large manufacturing companies. And I got them from and the quotes came from China, from 2 different forwarders. Now, these are multinational forwarders, and those $20,000 rates that you're seeing, they're like closer to 30 to 35. So, and both of them were very similar in rate. Completely different companies. I won't say any names, because I don't want to put anybody out there, but it's just interesting. You need to start looking at your rates coming in. Ask for a rated bill if you can, just to see what the ocean freight is. Maybe do a cost plus like some of these mid to small size forwarders are, which I believe is really the best way to do business. Everyone makes money, and there's a lot of visibility on all parties. But I'm just kind of taken back by this because I see these quotes that I'm sending out, and I see these rates that I post. And yes, these rates are coming from my agents overseas, so obviously there's a little markup there. But I just don't understand when these multinationals are just adding another $8,000 to $10,000 on a container. I really don't understand that part of it. But I guess the truth will come out soon. Someone will post something because the camel's back will eventually break. That's right. Break, and it will just spill with all the good stuff that we've been missing out behind the scenes. So when you start seeing a lot of these multinationals buying, that's also very uncommon, but I'm just letting you know, it's most of them, again, making a ton of money, trying to avoid paying taxes here in the U.S., So by acquiring something and putting it on their books, and it's very interesting how you can navigate it when you have creative accounting, which a lot of these forwarders have. Those multinationals have very creative accounting skills. All right, now I do want to discuss something that's also a really important topic to me, and that's domestic transportation. That's right, domestic transportation. Now, a lot of people ask, why domestic transportation? Domestic transportation to me is one of the key parts of supply chain. It's the final link to the supply chain is what I call it. And you need to have a good final mile or destination carrier or company that you work with. Now, what I'm noticing more and more and more is that the forwarding industry is starting to also get into domestic brokerage. So when I told you that DSV, Panalpina, blah, 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 started to take in Agility, was because they are a domestic company. And obviously that company was not bought out like DSV bought Panalpina. It was actually bought out through shares. So it's completely insane. So a lot of people are getting into this domestic world. Now that brings me to an interesting post, that I saw on LinkedIn. That's right, a very interesting post. All right, Mr. Danny Zamost. Could have butchered his last name. So this gentleman posted that him and Paul Loeb and another gentleman are back in the market after 5 years and started a company called Avenue Logistics. Pure genius, Avenue Logistics. I looked up and did a little research on them. They are going to be a domestic full truck, full load, final mile company from what the website says. Now let me give you a little bit of history and backstory about these guys. So I'm sure that a lot of you know a company by the name, or at least the older or more seasoned individuals in our industry, know a company by the name of American Backhaulers. American Backhaulers was this huge domestic company, and it was here in North Chicago in the northern suburbs where there's a ton of money up here, and they decided to start a trucking company, and they did so well with it that they actually sold that company to C.H. Robinson. That's right. And then that's when C.H. Robinson went boom and became the largest domestic guys in the market. Now, they waited a couple of years after that sale, and then there were 3 companies that came up. Echo, Command, and a company by the name of Coyote, which you're all familiar with. Well, the guys that sold, that were part of the American Backhaulers, started these companies. And they made them huge. I mean, most of you in the logistics industry already know who these people are, or at least have heard of these companies. So what happened was when they split off, they created their own little brokerages. I think it was Jeff, Paul, and Andrew, I think, were the 3 big guys. And the reason I know this is because my high school that was here in the northern part of Chicago, there were a couple of guys that went working for them and got into the logistics, into the American Backhaulers, and then they ended up splitting. And there was a very tragic story of a close friend of mine of 3 brothers that worked for this company. And as a matter of fact, one of the older brothers, the medium, I think it was the oldest brother, was on a road trip. They got tired, they were doing sales, and unfortunately he passed away in a bad accident. This was some years ago, and then both brothers ended up splitting. One went to Command and one went to Coyote. So I was able to get a lot of this information from them, especially from the past. So going back to the story, so these guys ended up making these 3 companies. Well, now when they made these companies, a lot of things started to happen. Command started to kind of partner up with Echo, and then Coyote was sold, and I believe it was the largest acquisition of a non-asset company, so it was primarily IP that was sold, to I believe it was UPS for like $2.3 or $2.4 billion. Yeah. Now, I'm going to let you guess how long ago this was. After seeing Danny Zamost's post that's been 5 years, I guess the non-competes are done, and they're getting back and starting this Avenue Logistics. So I'm incredibly interested to see how these guys really work and what they plan to grow, because now that they're back, their non-competes are up, I'm sure. Now they're going to start going after the same people. Our industry is very, very incestuous. Very incestuous. So they're going to go to the same guys, typically the same guys that live up here, getting their contacts with all that money. So it's going to be very interesting. Now, the one thing that I did like, and I think that this was absolutely a genius move, is Paul Loeb. This man is from Highland Park. It's a suburb, one suburb north of me. And I researched a lot and I heard a lot of the things that he did. And one of the things that I have a lot of respect for, because he is definitely a big entrepreneur, is when he started Command, he started to also factor his own loads. So he got not only from this side of the brokerage, but he also got paid from the factoring side. So he did it both. Pure genius. I wish I had all that money to do it, but when you have access to all that money up here and you have friends that are willing to let you borrow it and sell forwarding or domestic, it's not that hard to find in this area. You can fall right into money. So that was a very interesting post. So it's very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting. Situation when these guys are now coming into market. They've posted that they're looking for everyone, but they're another domestic. So keep in mind, Avenue Logistics owners were the ones that started American Backhaulers, to sold to C.H. Robinson, waited a few years. Then the three guys partnered up or split up, made Echo, Command, and Coyote. Coyote sold to UPS. Then they started their own, getting into their own things. And it was just so perfect that they posted after 5 years, they're finally back. I mean, that's not a key to saying, okay, here come the big boys. So really excited to see where these guys go. So I'm sure you'll hear plenty of them in the industry. That's right. All right, guys. Well, I know I haven't posted in a long time, but there is one video while I was away. I was trying to find things that are funny. And here are the top 5 warehouse fails that I'd like to share with you guys to bring a little bit of humor. Also, now you know why it's so hard to get people in a warehouse, because they're sometimes not the sharpest tools in the shed, or not enough sandwiches in their picnic basket. Some of them don't even have a picnic basket. So it's complete insanity. So I hope you enjoy it. Here you go. And that's what happens when you pay your warehouse guys $8 an hour. That's right, baby. Oh my God, that was so funny. All right, so all joking aside, Just to clarify with you guys, my specialty is working in with the China market, China imports and exports. So if you need any help in those markets, let me know. I could definitely help you out. Take a look at what you're paying. But if you, like I said, if you're paying over $30,000 to $40,000 for a container, you need to start checking out your options. I know a ton of forwarders I could put you in contact with, where they could be a lot more competitive. But again, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Again, thank you guys so much for all of your support. And again, go to my channel and hit subscribe. I would love to have you guys follow me there as well, as I post other videos that are not so logistical, intense with logistics information. Just more fun, lighthearted stuff. All right, guys. Anything else, let me know. I'm always here to speak to. Thanks. Have a great day and be well.